on, guys. Well, today we're talking knives again. I have a very interesting new knife here. This is the mystery knife from my BattlBox unboxing. I want to see if anyone can guess it, and thus far from the comments I've read, no one guessed it. And that's probably because it's a brand new knife company, brand new knife to the market. This company actually has a bunch of different knives already, and since I first saw them, they already have new ones. So it looks like they're coming out with tons of designs, which is pretty cool. But anyway, the company is Ruike, maybe? I don't know how to pronounce that properly. I'm gonna go with Ruike, just because it sounds kind of fancy, rolls off the tongue nice. You can see the slogan there, excuse me, ready to make it. So they are certainly ready to make it. So this is the box the knife came in. You can see we have our instructions and our specs, all that good stuff. Actually, you could pause it right there. This way I don't have to tell you all the specs. You can just, use this as a reference. I like that this has this, okay? Every knife company should have paperwork like this, just full dimensions on everything, because people are very interested, okay? So it comes with that. It comes with a warranty card, which is nice. Okay, back looks like it's in maybe Chinese. The front's English. And then this was connected to the knife, like a clothing tag type of deal. And you can see it's nicely fitted in the box here. So that's how it's presented. Very fancy, okay? And you guys will hear about the price towards the end, because I want you to watch the most of the video. Of course you can skip if you want, but the price is the most shocking thing because it's really not as much as I thought it would be. All right, so let's get rid of the box, paperwork. Let's take a look at the knife, right? That's what you care about. So I'm gonna give you a quick slow roll here, like it's a sweaty sausage or hot dog from 7-Eleven, sitting on those food rollers under the heat lamp. Looking good to some, looking disgusting to others. But anyway, little flipper design, crazy smooth. This thing has an awesome action. All right, feels like there's a bearing system in here. I do not believe there is, because I'm sure they would be touting it on their website. I mean, opens up every time. Great little detent, easy to use, not too big, not too small. It's right there. Just awesome. Really, I really like it. It's very, very smooth for a flipper. Also, as you can see, perfect lineup every time, perfectly centered. This is a frame lock, and what's interesting about this frame lock is that they have what they call the Beta Plus lock. So this slides forward, and it locks your lock. Okay. So if you didn't like liner locks because they weren't strong enough for you, you're worried about them closing, so you went to frame locks, and I'm sure this doesn't really exist, but maybe you don't think frame locks are strong enough. Now you have a lock for your frame lock, a beta lock. I think that's pretty cool. Would I use it? Not really. If I know I'm going to be doing some harder cutting and I have to use this knife for that chore, yeah, it's nice to know I can flip that on and it's never going to come unlocked. You know what I mean? And this also works, or doubles as a stabilizer bar, because you can't overextend the frame lock. All right, without it on, it still stops. You see it right there. So it still works as a stabilizer bar, but in addition, you have a little lock. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. All right, so I'm not getting any specs obviously because I showed you all of them, but I do want to talk about the blade steel. This has a 14C28N for a blade steel. That's a Sandvik steel. A lot of people are familiar with the steel and might not even know it. That's the steel that's on a lot of Kershaws. Most of the Ken Onion Kershaws, the Chives and Scallions, and Kershaw Leek, insanely popular knife. If you like the edge retention on a Leek or a Chive or any of the, named Kershaws, that's the same performance you're going to get out of this blade. It came razor sharp, and it's staying pretty darn sharp. Now, I've heard people compare the 14C28N to S30V. And some people may say, oh no, that's ridiculous. How can something you'd put on a $20 or $30 Kershaw, have just as good a performance as, a $200 knife? S30V is all over the place, anywhere from $50 to $500, depending on, where you see its applications. And S30V is one of my favorite steels that are out there. But, and this is how I've read it. Now, I can't, agree 100% because I haven't done literally a side-by-side. I might do that in the future, who knows? I might do more extensive steel testing videos, which I know some people would definitely appreciate. A lot of people maybe not so much, but I might do it anyway, just every now and again. we'll see. But I would like to do a side-by-side between the S30V and this 14C28N, because from what I understand from people who have done this testing, or at least have said they've done this testing, is that the S30V will hold a longer edge when it's semi-dull, if that makes sense. But the 14C28N, when you have a razor edge at the same, with the same exact edge geometry, the same angles, the same grind and everything, the 14C28N will actually hold a razor's edge longer than S30V, which is very interesting to me. I would never have guessed that. And again, this is just something I read on the forums, and this is a while ago too, so I don't know if that's been debunked or what, but I can tell you from experience with this one so far, and from my old Kershaws too, is that they do, last a while. Once they start going dull though, they start going downhill faster. If you saw it as like a chart, if you made an actual graph as far as edge retention, again, same geometry, same knife, both different steels, you'd see how the S30V would slope off a little bit slower than this 14C28N. But anyway, just here to say, again, for the price tag, which I'm not telling you yet, definitely a decent choice for sure. I do want to comment on the weight, 4.1 ounces on this, just because it feels light. It doesn't really feel much more than 3 ounces. So if you're one of those people that get very dead set on super light knives, it's still worth checking out. Even though it is all stainless steel, there is lightning skeletonizing on this side. I have a flashlight here to show you this. And this is why we have people ask me, or not people, someone specifically asked me like 2 weeks ago, hey, I never use the different modes on a flashlight. You know what I use my modes for? This, looking inside a frame, right? I need just enough light to see inside, but not so much that it's bouncing back at me and making it harder to see. So let's keep it there. If you could see the bottom scale, as I move this around, there's 2 large triangular cutouts. Okay, it's not 2 pieces. It almost looks like there's a liner in there, but it's not. Okay, so let me shut the light off, put that off to the side. Yeah, right here, if I flip this over, it's kind of like there's a bar that goes across, and then there's a cutout here and a cutout here. And that is specifically for lightening up the knife, because when it's all metal, it gets heavy. It's pretty cool though. It is just milled out of this one scale. As far as the pocket clip goes, I really like this design a lot. The blue, it's a nice touch because it's different. Some people may not like that. Maybe they thought, you should have just made it black, or just stuck with the the stonewash finishes on this. As you see, the entire knife is stonewashed. All right, nice deep, blackish gray color. I like how all the edges are almost pre-worn. And there's a lot of angles on here, if you could see. An angle change on the back here. Okay, the angles up here. Just very clean. But interesting, very kind of, I don't know, robotic or industrial, I guess you would say. Maybe that's the appropriate, explanation of the design. It's kind of an industrial knife. But anyway, I like this. It's just a straight pocket clip, but instead of putting a bend in it, they kind of riveted this piece in here. Probably a little piece of anodized aluminum or something, but gives perfect tension. You can see it comes down to a nice point. Fits in the pocket nicely. Had no problem taking it in and out. And it just kind of looks cool. This, obviously, the pocket clip is what's exposed, so it kind of catches the eye. Maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing, depending on, what you're looking for in your knives. But yeah, the bottom comes to somewhat of a point, so if you are one of those people that like to know you can use your closed knife as a kubaton or something similar, some kind of impact weapon or defensive tool, you can certainly do that with this one. And you can see there is a cutout for a lanyard, so it's kind of a lanyard oblong hole, but there's also a cutout in both sides of the frame. So it looks like, how you gotta squeeze something in there, but if you come in on an angle, it's actually easy to do. And I did try that. I made kind of a point, just burned the end of cut paracord and rolled it between my fingers real quick, so it made more of a point than when you have a big old glob on the end. And actually slipped in easier than I thought it would. So yeah, there's that if you do like lanyards on your knives. But overall, just really smooth. There's no jimping anywhere. Again, because there's angle cuts on both sides here, it gives you a little bit smaller of a frame feel. In other words, if I choke down, this feels wide, like a big base. This is a little bit thinner. Visually, it looks nice. Aesthetics are one thing. As far as the feel of it, a little bit on the thin side. If I had to find something to complain about, that would be it. It just feels a little bit thin, but it's not sharp. No ramp or anything here. As far as our blade, you can see it's long and slender, nice pointy tip on here. We have a full swedge on here, but of course it's not sharpened at all. And not a lot of belly, not a great slicer per se, but still plenty of blade going on here. Again, if you saw the specs, it's a little under 3.5 inches. So all those states in the US that have the 3.5 inch blade limit, this one certainly comes in, you know, just under. You know, not by mistake. A lot of these knife makers and manufacturers, they take in, you know, law into consideration for sales. If it's going to be illegal, you know, not allowed in most states or most places, then, you know, they're not gonna sell it, or they'll definitely sell a lot more models that are legal in more places. You see the only markings on the blade on the back here, P108-SB1, and then our blade steel, of course, 14C28N. On the reverse side, just their logo. And what would you see? What would you say that is? Number 1, Ruike. Number 2, Ruike. And number 3, Ruike. I don't know. I don't remember the first one I picked, so I can use any of the above. But yeah, it's a pretty slick knife. I really like it. I think the Beta Plus lock is a cool feature. Not something I'd personally use, but I know it's something a lot of people will like out there. All right, so we've come to that time. Let's talk about price. How much you think this thing is? 80 bucks, 100 bucks, 120 bucks? You know, you can see all the awesome WE knives that are out there and what stuff they're putting on the market for their prices. So what would you say? Would you buy this for 70 bucks? 60? 50? How about 40? Because that's what this sells for. This sells for $40. And for $40, I'm extremely pleased with that price tag and the performance you're getting. And because, again, it's sporting a lot of the you know, same steel as most Kershaws out there, it is in the same price range as a Kershaw. But I will tell you from experience now that this knife does have slightly better tolerances than the Kershaws I've used before. Not to you know, hate on Kershaw. I'm a huge fan. I love Kershaw. They make plenty of budget knives that are very cool, very purposeful, very useful. But I'm just saying that the tolerances just happen to be just like a hair better with this one. And it's a totally new design, you know, new lock on lock. Deals on deals going on here, and locks on locks. But yeah, it's really unique. It's very interesting. I'm very excited to try more. Now that I've tried this P108, there's definitely more models I want to try. They have another one that's, I think, a little bit bigger that has the same beta lock on it. And they have a couple little fixed blades, I believe. But yeah, pretty cool. Definitely worth checking out. I would say this is kind of like WE Knives 2.0. And let me explain. What do I mean by that? Well, WE Knives hit the market. That was a Chinese knife company putting out ridiculously awesome blades for the price, you know? This is like a mini version of that. They're even more affordable, you know, maybe not to the same level as the WE Knives. At least the one WE knife that I've used so far, this isn't quite on that level. But again, the price is nowhere near that price. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what this is. This is kind of like another amazing Chinese company that's just doing it right, you know? So a lot of these other companies have to step up because these guys are definitely on their tails with, you know, best bang for the buck type stuff. So very interesting. 40 bucks is definitely more in a lot of people's budget. So I like that because when I do knife reviews, I love talking about all kinds of knives. I could do a review on a $500 knife and I know someone out there is gonna be like, oh, it's cool, maybe I'll get one, and they do. But when I do a video on a $20 or $30 knife, or in this case a $40 knife, there's way more people that get interested because there's way more people who can afford a $40 knife, you know? So it always gets me excited when I find some good budget blades. But this is definitely a great budget blade. Super smooth, great lockup, you know, extra lock. Just really interesting, cool new design and a brand new company. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. P108, definitely a thumbs up. I'll let you know if anything changes long term because I still plan on EDCing this for a little while. I do have 2 other folders that I want to eventually do reviews on, which I'm going to use a little bit more too. But this is definitely just going in the rotation. I just really like it. It's a pretty cool blade. So if you guys have any of the other models from, what is it now? Ruike? I don't know. If you have another model from them, post down in the comments what you have, what you think of it. You know, are you impressed? Are you kind of let down? I mean, what's the deal? Give me your opinions. So anyway, quick tidbit before I go. This new company here is actually related to Phoenix, from what I understand, from some insider info. So if you like your Phoenix flashlights, you like the consistency, the customer service, all that stuff, that's basically who you're dealing with here. They broke out into knives, which I think is great, and they got to a great start here. So I'm very interested to see, you know, what they come out with in the future. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You don't want to put the knife down. I gotta pick it back up again, open it. It's just, man, it's nice. So there you go. Looking forward to the comments and your opinions. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.